The heiress to the Disney empire says she does not support the company's decision to start reopening the various theme parks in Florida, as cases, of course, are spiking across the state. Abigail Disney is no stranger to calling out the family business. She has slammed Disney for furloughing workers during the pandemic, at the same time as doling out executive bonuses. She's also spoken out against worker conditions, and she's called the then CEO Bob Iger's pay insane. She is the co-founder of Fork Films and an award-winning documentary filmmaker and philanthropist in her own right, and the granddaughter of Disney's co-founder Roy Disney. She's with me now and joins me from Ireland. Abigail, it is lovely to have you with us this evening. I'm grateful. Abigail, this idea that they shouldn't reopen the parks at the moment, if you assume and accept that they've done their due diligence and taken scientific advice, and the advice is it's safe to do so, which is what the company would say, then what's wrong with it?
Well, if you assume those things, that's great. I just know that at least one of their unions in Orlando and most of the unions in Anaheim object to the idea that Disney's unwilling to do testing regularly for Disney to take responsibility for the regular testing for their employees. And, you know, people have asthma, people have all sorts of comorbidities. They need a constant presence of testing, more than just taking temperatures, more than just working with symptoms. This is really important. They want to protect, you know, cast members want to protect the guests who come in as well as themselves and their families.
But if you take, you were against the furloughs at the same time as executive bonuses, and now they're trying to do their best to get the thing reopened again, because with that, of course, will be the ability to take back onto the books thousands, if not tens of thousands of workers. So you can see why there's an economic imperative for company and worker to get open again.
Oh gosh, yes, I completely agree. It really has to get open as quickly as possible within certain constraints. I objected to the furloughs at the time they handed them out, partly because they were happening at the same time the C-suite was protecting its executive bonuses, and because I know, especially in Florida, that when you get furloughed, you get your unemployment benefits, but a clock starts to tick. And it's a 12-week clock in Florida. And after 12 weeks, your unemployment runs out. So the earlier they furloughed people, the more likely it became that their furlough would outlast their unemployment. That was my objection to the furloughing. So I can see how these look like tensions against each other. But the very first thing has to be the safety of their guests and their workers. These jobs are important. This is an incredibly important piece of the Florida and California economies, but people's lives have to come first.
Do you think in the executive suite and the C-suite at Disney, when they hear you say these things about the opening and they think, oh, good Lord, here she goes again, what is it this time? I presume if they do, you don't care.
Well, I'm so sorry that this puts me at odds with them. I really, really am. But what Disney is doing here is what businesses across the board have been doing for too long. And I can't sit silent when profits run in front of workers and people again and again and again. If you in the C-suite look upon an hourly worker at minimum wage as your equal, as a human being with the same rights and dignity that you have, I think you'd be very slow to send them off on furlough when you know they'll run out of their unemployment benefits before they get back to work, or to ask them to come in with asthma, with diabetes, with all sorts of pre-existing conditions, and not provide them the testing that they are asking for.
Right. This next question probably will come across as clumsy, but I think you know what I'm getting at. As the holder of the Disney name, do you see it as part of your greater responsibility because of what Disney stands for in all its manifestations. You have the name. Do you see it as your responsibility to carry the torch when you see these issues arise?
Yes, I absolutely do. I have deep and beautiful memories of being at that park as a child with my grandfather, with my father, with my family. And I remember how we thought about the people who worked there back then. And I remember very distinctly being told by my grandfather, these people work hard and you need to respect them. And so those words really echo in my heart when I go there and see how disrespected workers are now.
Abigail, it's lovely to have you with us on the programme. Thank you. Let's check in again as the summer wears on, and we'll see how we're doing. Thank you, Abigail Disney, joining me tonight.